I need a starting soon screen. Do I though? I kinda like going in raw. It's authentic. Okay. I'm gonna run to the bathroom before this starts. Okay, we are ready to go. You got the puppy tucked in, he's doing good back here. Look at that old guy. Look at that old guy. Okay. And where did I end yesterday? I think I came to a pretty good stopping point. Yes, I can see I committed everything. I also wrote some things down that I need to do. So yeah, we've been working on the path following, like the movement part of the entity system, movement, state tree, pathfinding, navigation, that kind of stuff. It's in a pretty good spot now. I can't just use the plain old AI move to that are kind of built into like behavior trees and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to write my own. I'm still just using the nav system find path function, so that's built in. But I do have to kind of recreate a move to task in a state tree such that I can reuse it. So here's that task here. It's looking pretty good. It's kind of a series of 3 tasks, really. One is like getting the target that we need to move to, one is finding the path to that, and then the next one is following that path. So that's in a pretty decent state now. Handled a lot of edge cases yesterday. Rotation in there as well. I added some to-dos. Yeah, I want to put some movement settings into an entity data for like walk, run, sprint, eventually swim as well. So that's kind of describing the how to move. Right now it's just kind of hard-coded at a standard value. So I need to do that. It also store like nav mesh info, like actor half height and radius, which will go into the pathfinding request. I wanted to refactor my visual logs to make them easier to read. I needed to frustum call the static mesh versions of the entities. Nameplates were not updating, the health wasn't updating. Yeah, then there's this discrepancy between the targetable location. Sometimes when it's an entity, it returns the actor's feet. But that's kind of weird, because the player actor's location is in the center of its body. And then I also need to do probably some more handling of partial paths, or in other words, when a pathfinding request can't make its way all the way to the destination. Do I still want to try and get close as possible? That kind of thing. I think I also need to I think I want to do some, like, maybe that's what I want to do today is ranged versus melee, because like right now they just move to they try to move to where the player is at, like the exact location. and then they just stop once they're within range, whatever that may be. Which is, it's a simple way, logically, to do it, but what I don't want is for the player to just be able to stand anywhere that there's not a nav mesh in any slight section, and even though it, you know, a section of nav mesh may be right next to them that is standable on for the AI, and then the AI just gives up because they can't go to the exact location, which I think is what would happen now. Pathfinding request would probably fail. So I think what I want to do is do like projection of the location. I think you can do project onto nav mesh. I think I do that with the, let me get rid of some of these classes here. I think I do that with my find wander target task, which I have open right here. That's just get random reachable point in radius. What's the difference between navigable radius and radius? Whoop. Resulting location is not tested for reachability from the origin. I see. So reachable point radius is the proper one to use there, I suppose. I want to do like a project. Ah, yes. Project point to navigation. Why is this just hanging out here? And there's no document. To do document. Nice. Nice. Project. What other projects do I have here? Project settings. I have a K2 node. Blueprint function here. Okay, so I may need to write some of my own logic for getting into radius. I think I will end up using one of these functions to kind of get... I don't know, how expensive is this? Is this an expensive function? I guess I can always just profile it afterwards. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Probably this one? Wait, it's in nav data. So it's probably in recast nav mesh. Project point to nav mesh. Good lord, I'm like 6 classes deep already just trying to figure out what this does. Blurry filter. Probably this function would be the expensive one. This is when we get into the detour nav mesh. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's standing out. I'm getting too deep, so I'll probably just end up having to profile that. But I think maybe what I should do is, I feel like I can use the project point for like a melee. Or rather, I should just use back. See, this is a random point. I guess I want to get like the closest point, the closest point in a radius. assume this is the implementation that gets called. I want to sketch out some paint stuff. So we have this radius where our target is in the middle, let's say. And so anywhere in this radius, within this red circle, is like a within point, or within range, melee range. And then we have like our AI agent here. And then he needs to go, basically I want like this point right here. That's where I want to go. So really what I need is like get closest point within a radius of origin. And then for range, right, this would be like melee range, right? And I guess just the same thing would work for a farther range attack, right? I mean, I guess it depends on how defensive I want the AI to be. Like, do I want them to go to max range before they start attacking? That would be really annoying. That would be really annoying to fight against. But then they would never, like... If they don't have any, like, defensive abilities to get to max range, then there's no point in them trying, right? That would just be really dumb AI. Unless it was like a group of AI and nothing's attacking you, then you probably should go to max range. A lot of logic involved with like a ranged attack. Because you could be right here, cast a Frost Nova, root this guy, run all the way to like, you know, maybe max range is there. Go right here, cast, dead. So I'm thinking I probably want to... There's probably just some math. Because I do want it to be a reachable point. But how much more expensive is that going to be than just getting a random point? Or not random, but not necessarily navigable to point. Let me look at this detour nav mesh query file. This seems like it could be useful. Man, it's all camel cased. That's how you know you're getting deep in the Unreal Engine source code. If you get to camel cased, you're in for a fun time. Lots of git cost. Find path, find straight path. Init sliced find path. I don't know what a sliced path query is. Find polys around circle. That's an interesting... Finds the polygons along the navigation graph that touch the specified circle. What's the use case for that? Find polys around shape. Find nearest poly. You know, I read on Reddit about this bug in Skyrim where, like, if you followed the foxes, they would take you to points of interest. And players are like, oh, it's so great that they put that in, that's such a cool thing, but, like, the developers didn't intend to put it in. It just so happened that, like, when the foxes chose a random point to wander to, they just picked a random polygon on the nav mesh to move to, and the points of interest have by default more polygons than everything around it because it's more complex geometry. And so it just so happened that the foxes more often than not would pick those polygons and naturally wander to the points of interest. Just game dev things. And we got neighborhoods. Okay, now we're getting to the find random point. It would be nice if there was an easy way. Get closest point on poly. That's almost close to what I want. Find nearest poly in tile, closest point on poly in tile. Yeah, I don't think it shouldn't have anything to do with polygons or tiles. Okay, so no help there actually. No help there. That's project point. Here we go. This is what I was meaning to look at. Get random reachable point in radius. Yeah, I guess I'll see how expensive the projection is. So why don't I... change my get target location task? This is where the logic is going to need to live. And I don't want it to be right on the edge of the radius. I want it to be like, you know, somewhat inside. Just so there's not like a bunch of stuttering and stuff. And it can still like do the stop on overlap logic. Okay, so here's the target location. Why don't I need like a range? Do I need to start thinking about range being applied here? This is get target location task. And so if I wanted to like generify this task for reuse, what would I do with it here? Target location. Because what is this task? All this task is doing is returning the current target from the ability system component. So this really could be called something like get attack location, move to attack location. And I guess I would need to know like what we're attacking with. I wonder if I should just make this return the current target rather than returning the location. So that it can be, because what would I have here? Source object transform. Yeah, I kind of think that I should do that just to keep this like all that. This is just like get current target task, and then I can have another task for get attack location, and then that would calculate that radius and everything. Okay, get target task, targetable. Okay, and then we'll fix this log to properly show the target location again. Okay, so now this is like renamed and refactored and stuff. Let's make a new task. Go to wherever this one is. I should probably... Okay, I have a file for a task. Okay. It's just going to be a U object. I got to change it to a struct here after this. What is this going to be? I'll call it calc attack location. Is this all that needs to do? Because I'll need to know, like, I'll just need to know information about the attack. You know, like, how am I wanting to attack? And so I might need, like, a gameplay ability passed in here. I'll need, like, a range. Potentially, maybe I just get that from the gameplay ability. I'll need to know if it has a minimum range and whether it has a maximum range for, you know, like bow attacks, because there is a dead zone. There is a dead zone. Calc attack location. Yeah, we'll start with this and we'll see where we need to go. We'll see where we need to go after we get this put in. Change it to a struct here. And what am I extending? My entity state task tree. My entity state tree task base. Okay. F calc attack location data. And so this is going to need to take in an input for F targetable. Now let's just make it take in a vector, because I don't want it to have to use targetables. We take in a, we'll say, a target location, call that. I will also need to know another input. I guess is it always going to be a gameplay ability? I think it may. Should this be called attack? I don't think so, actually. It should be like just use, because it could be a heal, right? I could need to get in range for a heal. Yeah, let's rename that. Let's call it calc ability location. And then this should maybe be a parameter. The target location could be a parameter. Because maybe we just want to use the ability and maybe we don't necessarily need to know where to, like I could be casting something on myself. The AI could be casting something on itself. But I still think I would still probably pass the target in. I guess I need to think about how this ability information is going to get into the state tree. I think I'll need a task to choose abilities, and then that's going to output an ability to use. And then I'll need a task to actually trigger that ability. God, it sucks I have to do all this in C++. This would be the kind of thing that's really nice for blueprints. Is what it is, though. Ooh, excuse me. Continuous tracking. Do I need the concept of continuous tracking? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that needs to be a param as well here. Honestly, that should probably, for the most part, be true. All of these parameters are going to have to be filled out by another task. I shudder at the thought of what that task is going to look like. There's going to be so much logic for determining what ability to use. Especially if I want AI that, like, operates closely to a player. Which I think I may want to. Like, one of the things that kind of upsets me about games is that they don't have varying levels of AI smartness. And, like, difficulty for the most part just comes from slapping on more HP or more damage or more mobs. And I wish there was an AI upscale to that as well. Let's keep it. We got to keep it simple for now, though, or else we'll just be in design hell. So yeah, I'm basically gonna. Let me just copy this whole thing. Actually, it's gonna be very similar. I should probably actually rename this. Set output, probably just output target. And let me change this. Current target location. That's what that one's going to be called. And then this one should be something like ability. I'll call this use ability location. Let's make this yellow. Okay, so I'll bet usability instead. Now I do have the target location. Use ability, instance data dot usability. I've totally I haven't worked with my own ability system for so long I've forgotten it. Where does range come in? Surely I did something reusable for range. What did I do? Okay, so on deal damage. Okay, so do I need to? Where does my melee weapon range come in? Is that just in my character? I think so. Melee range, okay. Is target within range? Is auto attack allowed to continue? Okay, so it's really just about like, if the auto attack starts and I'm in range, then it will trigger, I think. Let's target within range, cleave. So yeah, there's no range check in. Hang on, I gotta test this out real quick. Come on, give me a target. So if I'm, hello please? I'm trying to attack. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there is like a range check, right? There's a range check somewhere. Oh, that worked really jankily too. I'll have to give this another pass over now that I've gotten my entity system in check. Oh, I call weapon can hit target. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so I think I'll need to write something. Let me look at cast ability. This one, cast ability definitely has a pre-built range on it, right? Right? Oh no. Yeah, I may need to give my ability system another little refactor. Where's range here? I know I did something with range. I have a ranged ability, but that's different from cast ability. This is like a ranged weapon. Is target within range? Okay, so this just has a function to call. Okay, so ability system has distance to target. Okay, so let me... So a weapon ability is based on the weapon's range, the range of the weapon. Where on earth, where on earth do I do range in my cast abilities? There definitely is a range, right? We're running way far away from this guy. Probably should have picked one that wasn't following me to make it easier. Oh my god. Why does it look like that? That's crazy. Bro, did 5.5 break the cascade particle systems? Oh no. Yeah, it is all sorts of wonky. Oh, he's actually taking damage though. Yeah, it's oh no. Well, that sucks, because a lot of my effects that I have are from, like, the Infinity Blade, the old-ass Infinity Blade project that was just, like, free assets to use. It was like a mobile game. Well, that's a new discovery. I haven't casted one of those abilities since I upgraded to 5.5. So that's fantastic. But yeah, where's ranged involved? Hmm. Can I just use those from forever far away? Haven't opened this level in a while either. Wow. God, 5.5 broke a lot of shit, didn't it? Okay, let's go way up here. Whoops, go away. Why can't I use 4? I can heal from this far away. Okay, let me look at that dot ability, because that was the only one. This was the only one that didn't work. Can activate ability. Huh. I definitely had range in here at some point. Maybe I just got rid of it? Because I was going to do something else. Ads. Why are there ads on my rain? Okay, I kind of feel like I need to have some sort of range on the ability base. I can't believe, I seriously cannot believe I didn't do anything about ability range before. And I haven't worked with this in a while, so I'm kind of hesitant to just shoehorn it in here, although I might. I have cost, I have cooldown, I don't have range. So I kind of feel like I might need a... I have a curve table row handle for cooldown and cost. I should probably just have one of those for range as well. And the curve table is for like getting the cost or the cooldown or the range for that ability for that level of that ability. So you could have an ability, I probably won't do this, but you could have an ability whose range increases as you get the next level. That could make a lot of sense for hunters. Like, right, you get the first level of an ability and you kind of suck at it, so you can only use it from like 10 yards out, 10 meters out or something. And then I have check cost, apply cost, I have get cooldown, gameplay effect, apply cooldown, cooldown down to remaining. Yeah, I mean, I think I should have something about range on here. I'm just copy this and I'll call this range. And it kind of sucks because, not sucks, I'm just gonna have to handle this. So, weapon abilities range is going to be based off of the range of the weapon used to cast it. But non-weapon abilities are going to have their own range, so I'm going to need to handle that. So I'll probably have like a get range function. Probably a check range as well. Probably should be a blueprint callable function. Loads, get range, sure. Also make a check range. And it'll need to take in a target. Should it take in an ability system component? Or a targetable. Let's make it take in a targetable. Do I do that, or do I just do a location? Because the task that I'm writing, I'm only doing target location. The targetable will have a bit more information. I mean, all I really need here is a location, so I guess it's not super important either way. But for callers of this, I guess it would be annoying to have to break. I don't know, let's just use a. We're gonna use target location. I mean, I guess if I'm using an ability, it's gonna have to be... It's gonna have to be an ability system component that I'm targeting if I'm gonna use an ability on it, so we'll just do that. Okay, so get range. Now, I guess I need to know here... Yeah, I think maybe just the default of this is going to be break this curve table row. There we go. That's what I want. And what is this? Is this just return? Yeah, it just returns a float. Okay, so that's the base for that. Then I guess I'll need to override that for any melee abilities. I guess I don't know what location I'm at here. Hey, it's okay. Come here, Moxie. Okay. Come here. You just gotta stop barking. You okay? Thank you. Yes, you're so sweet. Okay, I'm gonna set you down now. Yeah, I guess I don't know what ability system I'm calling this from. So I guess check range is gonna have to be done outside of this. Yeah, I think that'll need to be done here in the ability system component. Will it? Because I'll need to know an ability as well. And in the task that I'm essentially building all this for. I will have the ability system component here. I guess this may be like a, I may need to, this should probably be a T subclass of. And then I guess I'm going to need to work in my talent system into that function call as well. Right? My ability modifier stuff. How did I do that? Dude, it's been so long since I've worked on this. I've forgotten everything. Yeah, where did I put all that? Yeah, I kind of want to look that up just so I can inform where I'm going to put this stuff. What, is that what my calculators were for? Is that what I was doing? Yeah, so there's definitely one. Get ability crit modifier. Apply ability modifier effects. Okay, that's the function I was looking for. Is this the only place I'm using it at? No way. I had a dock where I was doing this. Abilities. Talents. Range, cast time, cost, cooldown, threats. Okay, so I guess I didn't get to that stuff. I just did, I thought I did so much more of this, though. I guess I did it in blueprints. Talents, yeah, I guess it is just like on damage and stuff like that. Improved Blizzard. Wait, what did I do with this? What is improved Blizzard? Slow magnitude. Oh, this was like a custom one, right? And I had to it's in here that it's like calc blizzard slow duration. What did I, oh my god, what have I done? What have I done? Ability modifier magnitude. And so I created a class for this. For each ability. Evaluate ability modifier level magnitude. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just like adding them up. And I just created like a blueprint to handle that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing like a running total. Okay. Probably not as complicated as it looks. I could probably do a better job of documenting that. Comments and whatnot. Okay, so that was a bit of a rabbit hole. But I'm not necessarily happy that I went down. But I did remember how I did things. So, yeah, I could probably just do apply ability modifier effects within the get range function. I think that would work fine. To make sure talents can affect range. Or like maybe there's a debuff that reduces ability range, right? Wow, this is the antsiest raid I've ever gotten on YouTube. It's because I clicked on a sponsored one, that's what I get. There we go. Okay, let's get back to actually trying to do things. So, ability range. I guess maybe I can just check distance here. Although, I can see how it would be nice to have it on the ability system component. So I think I'm going to write it here. Check range, const. And I guess this will need a gameplay ability pass to it, ability, and then I'll need another ability system component that'll represent the target that I'm trying to cast it at. Alright, what do you got for me, co-pilot? Come on, give me something. No? You just had it. Return 0. Nice. Check range should return a boolean, actually. So I will need to ability, get default object. Why do I need that? Wait, what? How did I use it in here without doing that? Do I really have to? I didn't think I had to do this. Get default object. And you have to pass a templated parameter to it? Returns the city of... Do I use this anywhere in my code? And so why can't I use get range on it? Oh, I did ability system component. I'm dumb. You my gameplay ability base. That's why I couldn't use it. Because I can't read. Okay. Put that back in there. Will I want this to be a spec? I don't think so. No, I think I just want it to be a subclass. Okay. Float dist. I don't need absolute value on that, I don't think. Targets. Get actor location. Oh man. Yeah, I need to change how I get the location of this ability system. So right now I'm just returning owner actor, which is not always going to be the case. So if I'm an entity and I am valid, get subsystem my entity subsystem. Entity subsystem get transform, yes, transform okay, that can be const. Okay, so if I'm an entity, do that. Otherwise, get owner actor, get actor location. Okay, create a declaration for that. I think this one should also be blueprint callable. Probably going to be important. Okay, so now here I just need to get location. Should I call this get actor location or get avatar location? Or just get location? It's not necessarily the... I think just get location is probably fine. This actually gets a lot shorter too because I wrote that. Okay, so I wasn't using get actor location anywhere else. Kind of surprising, honestly. Okay. Okay, I think this'll be fine. So I can just check range from in here. Well, this is calculating ability location. Why did I just write that whole fucking function? Wait, why did I do that? I mean, I guess if I'm in range already, I can just return my own location. I need to... use the ability range as a radius around a target. So what's the math there? There's some math there. I can draw a line from where I'm currently at to where my target is, and okay, what I need to do, I think I know. I need to math library, find, look at rotation, or no, I need a direction. Dir to target equals, I need to, it shouldn't be a float, f vector. I need to subtract, yes, that's I think what I need. target location. You do target first and then you do current location. In any case, I need not this, but I need the transform. And then I guess I just need to walk it back by the. I need to like what? I have a function for this. I wrote a function for this. What is it? Generic utils. What is it? Get point. Yes, get point along direction. Oh, I'm so glad I wrote this. Start point, direction, and distance. Okay, so start point is actually going to be the target location. Direction. Actually, I need to reverse this because I'm going backwards. This should be dir from targets. Dir from target and ability range. Voila. What am I calling this? Use ability location. Oh yeah, that's what I call it down here. So yeah. Use ability location. That's like getting the max distance. So I guess I do need to check if I'm already in range. And then just return my current location. Okay, so ability system component, check range, instance data dot usability. All I have is a target location. What do I want to do here? Everything's telling me to just change this to an F targetable, I think. That's what let's call it target. Here's the target. Instance data target. ASC. Yeah. And I guess I should check if there's no target, return false. Yep. So if I'm in range, just return running. Let's fix this up real quick. Target transform get location. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to want to... I'm going to need some outputs here. Category output, move to location. This is just going to be the current location. Yes, perfect. God, Copilot, dude. Ugh, do you guys remember when Copilot wasn't a thing? Oh my god. Manually typing out everything? Insane. Okay. That's pretty rudimentary. So what this is going to do is it's going to go to max range. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm already in range. It's not going to do anything. So I need to check min range as well. But that's really only for a special case, which is the bow attacks. And I still need to handle... I guess the ability really should have the check range on it, rather than the ability system component. The ability system component still have one, it just needs to still pass it through to the ability, I think. Because the ability needs a way to define its own logic for that special case that I mentioned. Yeah, so I need a source and a target for that. That's why I didn't want to write it there originally. I was like, why would I put that function on here? And it would need both a source and a target. I can just put it on the ability system component, which would already be the source. This is going to be check range again. Turn a boolean. My ability system component, source, give me another one for target, please. Copilot, nope. Okay, gotta write it myself, that's fine. Okay. Give me a def for that. And then I'm just gonna copy the logic here. If there is no target, or there is no source, let me write that first to keep it consistent. Okay. And then I should just be able to call get range on myself. Okay. Now get location. There we go. Let's put source first here as well. It's kind of weird having target then source there. Target, okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so that's that. Let's change this then to check range, just return I mean, yeah, that technically works. I should have probably done that in the first place. Ability, get range, no, get default object, my ability, my gameplay ability, get range. No, check range, sorry, check range. This and target. Oh, right, and it needs to be const. Okay, I'll make them both const, just to make you happy, Unreal Engine. It smells like kibble. Who's eating kibble out there? Crazy. Puppies are being crazy out there. Okay, so now those are both cons. Are we all happy now? I think we're all happy now. So now, yeah. So, I mean, there's a check range on both. I don't really need this one, to be honest with you. I mean, honestly. Yeah, Agni. Yeah, Agni's telling me to delete it. You aren't gonna need it. So I do need an instance of the default object. Ability CDO. Okay. Okay. So I do have the check range. And I guess this logic doesn't handle minimum range, right? Well, yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Because check range would return false if I'm not in range, and that includes if I'm too close for the given ability, which would be the bow attack. And then what would happen? It would get the desired location. Yeah, and the acceptance radius now just turns into the range. So I should output the acceptance radius as well. Like I have like a desired location. And then I have the acceptance radius, which should be the ability range. Ah, but that gets tricky when it's a when I have the bow minimum range. It would need to be the difference between the min and max range. But how would I get the min range in a way that works well? Let me just finish the simple case here. Acceptance radius is now just get range. Let's put this back into a function. Yeah, because really, the only thing is bow attacks are the only thing that needs a minimum range. Do I want to write a function for get min range and get max range? On the ability CDO? Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it would take, and then just like literally everything has a min range of 0 except for bow attacks. I guess that functionality would just be nice to have for other things. Maybe that's something I come back and refactor and don't worry about right now. I'll just write maybe a to-do here. To-do, handle bow attacks, min range, subtract min from max range for acceptance. It's because the usability location is always going to be the max distance. Maybe I should call that out. I'll say max usability location. Max range usability location. There we go. Now that's nice and clear. Now that's nice and clear. Because if I'm within the minimum range, subtract the min from the max. Max is going to be like over here. And then, you know, maybe right there's the rate. Yeah. So I just move back a little bit. And I think what I was saying is I think I also want to do a little bit more. I want to get a little bit closer. I don't want to be at exactly the max range. Because then if that's the logic for the AI, you know what the player's going to do, right? Player's gonna like hop in range, you know, cast an instant cast, and then hop out of range when the AI starts casting, and then just go back and forth, and the AI is just gonna keep running forward. So I need to go in a little bit. I need to go in. I don't know, like what's a good ratio? Should I go by ratio or should I do like an absolute distance to move in? I kind of feel like it should be like a percentage, like a ratio, like 10% maybe. Because So I think my melee range is by standard 200. I think daggers are going to have maybe 100 or 150, and then spears are going to have like 250, 300. Unreal units for centimeters. So spears like 3 meters. And then I'm thinking most ranged casts will be 30 meters. And so if I do like a 10% inward ratio for like how much closer I should get from the max range, then that would be like 27 meters versus 30. I mean, is 3 enough? I kind of feel like I want to go at least 5. So what is 25 of 30? 83%. So that's a 17. What is a 15.15 times 30? 4.5. That I feel like let's do a 15%. And then what is that of 200, which is my melee range, times 0.85, 170. I mean, that seems fine. And then I need to project this point onto the nav mesh still. Hi, Moxie. Little Miss Scruffles just wandered in. Hi, sweetie. You being a good girl tonight? She's so fluffy. Is your winter coat coming in? Okay, yeah, so let's direction, and I need to times 0.85. Let's say move inwards, move closer, 15% from max range, so players can't cheese as well. The AI as well. Yeah, it's gonna get really confusing in a few years when we're using in game dev. We're still using AI for like NPC behavior, and the rest of the world is using it for a different meaning. Okay. Yeah, and then we need to project this onto the nav mesh. So I need to get the nav system info, which I have already, and I'm going to copy that. Where is that? Do I have it open? I don't think I do. That is find path task, yeah. Yeah, and I need the nav agent properties as well. Am I getting a package? What's happening out there? No, my neighbor is. Is that what's happening? A lot of blinking lights happening out there. Yeah, okay. Man, a UPS truck's hazard lights look quite strange in night vision. In a night vision camera. Okay, nav system. Copied that. And then how was I using this? Nav data. I don't know. I think I might just need nav system. Moxie, come here. Come here, Moxie. She's quite angry at the truck. Nav system. Let me just see here. What do we have? We have project. Yeah, we have project point to navigation. Okay, so I don't even need nav data. The point max. Oh my goodness. Now I got packages. Now I got packages. Dogs always love letting me know that. Projected desired location. What are my other params here? I have an extent. Interesting. What does that do? What does that do? Oh, it needs to be an F nav location. Okay, not a not a vector. Yeah, let me see what this extent does. It's I think it, yeah, I think it's the recast one. Extent just goes into project point to nav mesh. Good God. It is modified extent. I mean, is this the area to search in? Like, is that what that's defining? And what is the default, yeah, what is the default value of extent? Right, there's got to be a default value. Is valid extent, otherwise default extent. Rough size of this agent used when projecting onto... Oh, I see. I see. So it's not the area to search within, it's the area to search for. I see. Okay. And this doesn't have any documentation, so I had to go figure that out. You would think that that would just be part of the nav agent properties here, but I guess not. Yeah, we'll just do that then. Project onto navigation. And then we have the projected desired location. Dot location. Dot location. Dot location. Okay, I think this task is ready for a little test run. Well, no it's not, because I need to now update all my abilities. Get range function. But really, I think all I would need to get this testing, I'll do it for the melee abilities. And maybe I should create a weapon ability subclass to do that. So the way I get the weapon into here is by using event data. I have weapon special ability as well. And here I just get the owning actor for the weapon special ability. I get the owning actor's equipment component. I'm trying to think of how I would want to structure this in a reusable way. I could just always let the callers decide what weapon to use for this ability. Or I could create some sort of standard way to pass the weapon in here. I don't always want it to have to be triggered from an event, so I don't like that. What is an activation info? Can I pass arbitrary data in that? No, that has nothing to do with that. It's like prediction stuff. I guess trigger event data would be the standard way. And what I don't want to have to do is create, because what this is doing is I guess I have a Boolean here that's just set on the default object for whether this is a main hand or an offhand ability. And then it gets either the offhand or main hand accordingly. What I don't want to have to do though is I don't want to have to create a main hand weapon ability and an offhand weapon ability. I definitely will be creating a ranged weapon ability, which would just easily get the ranged weapon, whatever's in the ranged weapon equipment slot. But I guess what's making me hesitate here is that my entities, if I go with this, my entities would then need to have equipment components, all of them. I don't know if I want to lock myself into that. You know, I think for at least humanoid entities, I'll definitely want that, because I mean they will have equipment equipped, right? I just don't know that I want to have that as a requirement for combat to happen. So I think I do definitely want a weapon ability. That is for sure. So let's add a class for that. And for now, all this is going to do is override get range for now. I'll probably move more functionality there later. Oh, it's not virtual. Duh. Let's make it virtual. And cast abilities won't need to override this because the default implementation for get range is to just evaluate the grip table rope handle, which will just be left blank for weapon abilities. No, I don't want to implement every function on the ability. That would be nuts. That would be nuts. Okay, so What do I want this logic to be? I suppose I should still have a EU property. Blueprint read, right? Blueprint read only. Isn't there edit defaults only? Yeah. And then let's make the category a weapon ability. And this is going to be bool B use offhand. And then I think maybe weapon abilities I can also override the can activate ability function to check range and check that you do have a weapon. Yeah, so I guess let's just get owning actor. Is this gonna work? I've had issues with calling get owning actor from actor info because actor info is not always populated. Yeah, because I kind of need to know who's calling that on this ability. Yeah, that's not going to be populated, right? That's not the actor info is not going to be populated when this is called. Yeah, I need to know who's calling this. That makes things a bit trickier. I could just pass it around in the spec version of the ability as like, you know, what is it, the context source object or some shit. I could pass the weapon around in there. This is starting to not make sense to do it this way. This is starting to not make sense. Yeah, because getting the range of an ability when the range isn't even based off the ability. It's like how do you get that when all you have is an ability? And I could just add a parameter to this function for you know, source component or something like that. And that could be a way for me to understand who the caller is. But for cast abilities, you don't really need to know that, do you? Well, I guess if I needed... to apply talents, then I would. Okay, I think I probably should now. I probably should add that parameter. Because I will need to apply talent modifiers to the range. Yeah, and I guess the way the built-in functions work for the ability system is that they pass in like a handle, and they pass in actor info. And so you just use that actor info, ability system component, blah 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 blah. So usually there's a spec involved. I'm not gonna do it that way because that's just gonna mean more work for me inside the function. I think what I'm gonna just do is do it whatever the easiest way is. Get range, and then I need a source. That works nicely there. And go back to the task that I wrote. Okay, so now we have the source component. What is the difference between get owner and get owner actor? Okay, so we're going to get the equipment component. And then I can copy this logic now that I have that. We'll just get melee range. So I guess I can, and then there is, I can do that, max, I have a max weapon range on there, okay. Okay, we will return weapon range. Okay, so there is a default implementation of that. Not a default, but like a baseline implementation for that. So I'm just gonna get the owner's equipment component and take what's in their hands. Now I guess I'm thinking about like thrown abilities. I guess it would still, if I'm throwing something, it would probably need to be equipped or something. Like I'm picturing like if maybe you have some throwing javelins or throwing spears like that. I guess that works the same as this or the same as a ranged weapon ability. Okay, so now I'm gonna like change the subclass of my auto attack ability. So now I can get the range of that properly. And I suppose that's not even going to work for the entities because they don't have equipment components. Excuse me. I mean, how else? How else would I do that? An entity needs a weapon somehow, right? For a weapon ability. Otherwise, the ability will just have a range associated with it. Wondering if I should just have a default melee range to test this task out with. Things delivered. Thinking, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? How have I pressed enter 248 times tonight? That's kind of crazy. Oh, backspace 316. I feel like that's a pretty good ratio, actually. Backspace only 317. Oh, does it count control? It doesn't. Okay. That's why my backspace numbers are so. I needed to include the control backspace as well. I'll have to fiddle with that. Yeah, what do I want to fucking do here? And what if there is no curve table provided to the ability? That's just gonna fail. Is valid? Context string. Just turn 0. I suppose. Yeah, let's just go to this, and rather than calling super, let's just return 200. Because that's going to be kind of like my default, you know, swords, axes, maces, all the regular stuff. I think it's going to be 200. Okay, so is this in a good enough state to test? I still need to set up like an ability chooser task. So I suppose I need to work on that as well before this will even work. And I guess an entity is going to need a set of abilities that it has. And I mean, that lives on the ability system component. So, and it just has all of the, it has all activatable abilities. I know that. That's a default implementation. So all I really then need to do is get, or not get, give the abilities to, I need to grant the abilities to the actors. And where am I granting the melee auto attack ability? I feel like I'm doing that like I feel like I'm doing that in my character base. Yeah, those are like defaults given abilities. I'm wondering if I should have on my game mode default given abilities to everyone. So I think melee auto attack ability would be one of those things. Well, I'm trying to think, would there be any other default given abilities? I always use WoW as my example, like vanilla WoW. Like, I think the only default ability would be melee. Everyone can melee auto attack. Not everyone can ranged auto attack. Because there's like druids and paladins that can't even hold ranged weapons. So that would not be, ranged auto attack would not be a default given ability there. So if there's really only going to be one, then I don't think I need to go through all that. And I guess my ability chooser task is going to check if I can activate the ability. And if it can't find an ability to activate, I guess it just runs. Does it just run? But like, when wouldn't you should always be able to melee auto attack? Well, yeah, because you can attack without a weapon. So was it bad of me to name that weapon ability? Maybe that should just be melee ability. So then maybe make that 150 for fists. Yeah, I'll rename this to melee ability. Why am I not getting refactor, please? There it is. I just didn't see that. Okay. You melee ability. I'll say unarmed. I don't have animations for... Oh no, all the vertex anims I'm gonna have to put. Oh no. Oh lord. Oof. Okay, so here's the deal. With vertex animations... you have to create this thing. It's a data asset to kind of, and this is what ends up getting like passed to the GPU in some way. I have 14 animation sequences just for moving, and each of these has like a range associated to it for what frames it is stored in, and then the GPU has to iterate over that range when you're playing that animation, is essentially how it works. And so now I'm going to need to add every single fucking attack animation in here. $14 is already a lot. And I mean, this takes up memory in the GPU. Does it do it per, like, instance? Surely not. Surely not. Surely there's some way to use the same set of animations for everything animating, right? I'll have to go back through the tutorial I did. And then here's the material. Ignore everything to the left of this. This is what handles the blending, blend, bone, position, and normal. I guess it just sends... It sends 3 textures. One for each frame that I'm blending between. And I'm blending between 3 due to the blend space. I have a blend space that I use in memory in C++. And I just evaluate what animations should be played from that in-memory blend space based on the speed and direction of the actor, or entity, rather. And so if I'm wanting to play an attack animation, how would that work? I don't know that I would need to worry about... God damn, how do I... Hang on, I gotta look at the, I might have to, like, rework my animation blueprint. Oh no, that's a blend space, not what I want. That's the blend space I use. Where did I put that blueprint? Animation instances? My ABALS? What, yeah, I mean, I guess it is. Yeah. It's the weapon overlay. I have the weapon overlay and the cast overlay. I'm remembering now. And then attacking. And then I do additive? Oh man. How am I going to do this in a material? Because I'll want them to be able to move and swing. So that implies like upper body and lower body animations. And blend curves for bone. Huh. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to dig into that deeper, into this vertex animations. I guess the easiest thing to do would just be to just outright play a melee swing animation even when moving. Or either that or don't do anything. So, and when I say don't do anything, I mean like just walk and don't melee swing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that for a little bit. I need to take my dogs out though, so I'm gonna do that and be right back. I'll get some more water too. Okay. Oh, okay. Just making sure my streams had sound. Lord of the Pies, hello and welcome. You followed just as I got back. Wait, why are there more people here now than there were when I left? What happened? Do you people not want me here? Well, sorry, but I'm back, everyone. Thank you for following, though. Appreciate that. Getting back to what I was working on, which was trying to figure out how to make my entities actually swing a weapon and execute an ability. I've made this like calculate ability location task that is going to get like the desired kind of range to attack within. And so, you know, if they have like a ranged ability they want to cast, they're not going to move all the way up to the face of the player. They're just going to get... I'm choosing 15% from max range so that the players can't like cheese the distance. Because like if you imagine the AI is going to move to the absolute farthest distance that they can be to cast something, and then the player's just going to take one step back, and then they're going to have to stop casting and move forward a bit. So I don't want the players to be able to cheese that as easily, so I chose 15%. So I'm thinking most cast abilities will be around 30 meters, and so 15% of that is like 4.5, I think. So I think that'll be fine. Will be a little bit not quite as easy to cheese it, but we'll probably still need to do some additional logic there. But now what I need is, because this task takes in an ability to use, and it gets the range of that ability, then it finds a location to move to, and it's just you know, nearest point projected onto the nav mesh to the radius. And if the entity is already within a radius, then the next task in this chain, which will be it'll still find the path. Maybe I should change that, but it'll find a path, and then the move to will be like, hey, we're already here, we can stop. So now I need some logic to choose an ability. I need a task for that. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole following that train of thought, because I'm using vertex animations for the, you know, in the distance versions of my entities. I was like, wait, how the hell am I going to get them to swing? How am I going to get them to do a weapon swing animation and get that blended and stuff? So I went down that rabbit hole. I'm going to have to probably look at that off stream. That's going to be quite boring. I grabbed a spot of wine. Let's go ahead and create that other task now, though. And so, what are we going to call this? Like, choose ability to use? Is that too long? Should it just be choose ability? Because I'm thinking about the... how long have I been using Unreal Engine? About 2 years now, I think. I think it'll be actually 2 years, yeah. So I think one of the first things I was working on was a procedural terrain generator, and that was about 2 years ago. And that was like back when I didn't know anything about Unreal, didn't know anything about C++. I am a software engineer, so I know how to write code, but never written any CPP. So doing the procedural generation, Unreal Engine, and C++ all at the same time. Not the greatest way to learn Unreal Engine, it turns out. Funny how that works. Yeah. So I spun my wheels in the mud for several months. Came out the other side though with a halfway decent procedural terrain algorithm that I've refactored like 3 times now. But I did that. I have like destructible terrain as well. I have like a building system, you know, a little player modular building system, and I started working on like the gameplay ability system as well. So I've got some abilities in the game, you know, fireball, blizzard, some melee swings, bow attacks, that kind of stuff. Loving how you're explaining your thoughts as you're going through it. I'm only just starting myself. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's actually, it's a skill I've learned from interviewing, actually. It's something you kind of have to be good at to pass some software engineering interviews. I find it probably more important than actually solving the problem, so slows you down a little bit, but yeah, I hope it's coming through coherently. That's my only worry there. I feel like sometimes I omit like certain details because I'm just going over it in my head, but definitely trying to pump the brakes a little bit as I talk about it. But yeah, I got some abilities in the game. I did the talent system. I've got like an equipment system. Not really a whole lot to equip, but it turns out you need a lot of assets for game dev. I am no artist. What else did I do? Oh, I have LLM generated quests that like I send them off to the Gemini API and then they respond with a JSON object that I then use to like spawn things in the game for the player to kill. Pretty rudimentary still, but it's a start there. You can like I have colonists that you can talk to, and you could make them do tasks. I did have behavior tree working for like tree chopping, and you could make your colonists go build buildings for you. Again, pretty rudimentary, but then I realized for what I want my game to do, part of it I want to be a Colony Sim. Colony Sim RPG Roguelite. That's kind of what I'm going for. And one of the things that I find lacking in some other Colony Sims games is that they don't simulate the whole world, right? They only simulate either the tile that your base is on, or they just simulate everything in the immediate vicinity, and then everything else just kind of runs on an equation. You know, like, you know, you have 2 workers chopping wood, so each worker does 5 wood per hour. That's 10 wood per in-game hour. No matter what. Doesn't matter how far the trees are away, or how many trees you've chopped, or if your colonists, you know, get attacked by a wolf in the middle of it. I want that stuff to matter. And so I want the world to be fully simulating at all times. And I want the player, how you build your colony, like where you place the buildings, how the pathing works, all your colonists' stats. I want all that stuff to matter. And I want them to actually walk from their house or whatever to the forest to go chop trees. And you're not going to get the wood from the trees until they bring it back for you, and they've already chopped the tree down. And if there's some wolves in the forest, those wolves are going to attack them. And you're going to need to have, you know, you're going to need to determine what happens when these colonists get attacked in the woods. You know, maybe you give them good enough gear to where they can defend themselves. Maybe you only send out the stronger colonists to, you know, the dense forest. You know, the more valuable wood area or something like that. Or maybe you just say, hey, anytime you see danger, colonists, you just get the fuck out of there. You just have that policy set. And so, with that being said, I was looking into Unreal Engine's Mass Entity framework. Spent a good deal of time, again, spinning my wheels in the mud there. It works well for what it's specifically built for, which seems to just be moving pedestrians or traffic around on a predefined path, which is nothing like what I would want to use it for, which is I want to fully simulate entities all around the world moving in arbitrary locations. And so I had to come up with, I tried to get that working within Mass Entity, and as with everything Unreal, it wasn't documented well enough for me to be successful in it. And once I was finally able to get some rudimentary stuff working there with, you know, actors moving around and stuff, optimizing it was very difficult. I couldn't put things on background threads. You know, you can't make the Unreal Engine, the Mass Entity processors, you can't make those run on background threads. You know, a background thread being something that does not block the game thread. So you've got your game thread things, which is obviously where the game happens at, and where a lot of things need to happen, you know, collision, actor movement, that kind of stuff. Then you have foreground threads, which is like a thread. It's not running on the game thread, but it's still going to block the game thread from finishing until it's finished. And then you have background threads, which don't block. And so, you know, that's where a lot of the optimization is going to come from, right? Like, I don't necessarily need entities that are halfway across the world to move every single frame, right? But what I do need them to do is update every so often as to where they should be. And so running something in the background that doesn't necessarily need to complete every frame is what I would want for that. Couldn't do that with Mass Entity. There was not a way to do it. Every time I tried to get it to, every time I tried to shoehorn it to doing that, you know, some exception or another happens. So that led me to writing my own entity system, which is almost the same thing, but just made by me. I've got processors, I've got entities, I've got little pieces of data that are attached to those entities, and the processors just iterate over the entities. And the great part about it is I can do it the way I want to, right? I can write it, it's just C++, right? It doesn't interact with any other Unreal system, unless I want it to. So no exceptions are going to happen just by nature of me running it in the background, which is great. So that started maybe a month ago, maybe more, that whole journey. So now I'm finally getting into the combat side of things. I finally, over the past few days, I've gotten my movement tasks, because I have to make my own state tree tasks now. You can't just use behavior trees. Behavior trees run every frame, so already not a good solution for wanting to simulate everything around the world. So state trees is the obvious choice there. So now I have to rework everything that I had in behavior trees into state trees. And on top of that, these aren't just any state trees. These are like my entity system special state trees. Like I had to create my own schema for them to expose my entity system to it. And my entity system is the one that decides when the state trees should tick, if ever, and when they should update, when they should go to the next transition, that kind of stuff. So that part has been a little bit of a challenge, both learning how state trees work, how they're different from behavior trees, and in doing that, I because I have everything running on background threads, I figured out that essentially that means I have to do everything in C++, which is kind of annoying, because there are going to be a lot of state tree conditions that you would just create a quick blueprint for. I'm not going to be able to do that, because the blueprints just they throw exceptions if they're ran on background threads, and they're not because the built-in ways to call a function on a blueprint, functions in blueprints aren't latent. You can only do events in the event graph. And that's not how state trees work. So I've kind of isolated myself from being able to use that. So everything's going to be in C++, which is it's slowing me down a little bit, but I think it means it's going to be a lot more performant. And I am better at coding than I am with doing blueprint stuff, so I think it'll be better for me in the long run. It's just kind of like getting all this stuff set up and getting into a flow it's been a little grindy. It sounds like it'd be a bit of a challenge. Yeah, well, that's what I can't resist a challenge. But this work stuff sounds like a game I'll enjoy. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I take big inspiration from games like RimWorld, which is like, if you haven't played it, it's like a 2D top-down Colony Sim game, but super in-depth and super random as well, in like the most hilarious ways. And you can do like crazy war crimes type shit, so it's pretty fun. You can have prisoners, you can like amputate legs and shit. And every colonist has stats, so it's like, I'll be playing RimWorld, I'm like, damn, I want to be in the world, you know? I want to be a character in the RimWorld, running around. And I also want abilities. Been playing RimWorld all day for the past 2 days? Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I haven't played in a while. Classic WoW just relaunched, so that's what I've been playing, which is another game I take huge inspiration from. So you could think of RimWorld, like if you took like a 3D third-person RimWorld, and it was an RPG where you had spells, you picked a class, you have a talent tree, You know, maybe throw a little bit of Baldur's Gate in there with some of the AI stuff that I'm planning to do. Then also, I really like roguelites. And I think I have a loop in mind that would be really fun for this. And I think like I'm thinking like you get random abilities every 2 levels, or like you get a choice, right? Like every couple levels, you'll get like maybe 3 abilities to choose from, and you pick one, and you kind of have to build your character around that. And it's going to be like, normally roguelites, they focus on like, you know, maybe like a 30-minute to an hour-long run. And that's kind of like, a run is short. I want to experiment with like a long-form roguelite. You know, something like the amount of time it would take you from level to 1 to 60 in classic WoW, like dozens of hours to get to max level. And the reason I want to do that is I was kind of inspired by hardcore WoW. It is so fucking fun, but also so devastating at the same time. Because to get from 1 to 60, like if you level average, it takes you like 60 hours at least, and that's pretty quick, right? That would be no wait, that's like the world record speed, 60 hours. So I think normal is what, like 10 days, like 10 days playtime. So like hundreds of hours maybe. That's maybe like the slow end. It's like 200 hours to get to level 60. And like, when you die in hardcore WoW, God, that is devastating. But my God, it is so much fucking fun to watch hardcore death clips. And like watching streamers play it and stuff. And it made me think like, oh, what if WoW was a roguelite in some way, or roguelike? So that's how I got there with that. So I'm shoehorning a bunch of shit together. We're going to see how it turns out, essentially. And that goes for both my technical systems and my game design systems. So yeah, now we need to pick an ability for my entities to use when they're in combat. And I think this is going to be probably where all the meat and potatoes of my logic is going to be, because there's going to be a lot of abilities, right? Like heals, defensive abilities, utility type abilities. I'm going to have to come up with logic for when those execute. And then I'm also going to have to come up with how to grant abilities to entities, which is probably what I should do next after I create this. Take the doggo out, I feel you. Just did that myself. Choose ability, yeah, just U object, choose ability to use. Yeah, I think just choose ability is probably verbose enough. I need to change this to a U struct. F my entity state tree task base, and I'll need to create another U struct for the F choose ability data. And let me just copy everything over from my other task here. Where did that go? I don't want that at all. Choose ability. I should probably append it with task, actually. Although I didn't with some of the other ones. Choose ability. There it is. Let me move that up there. Okay, update all those, import this. Continuous tracking is not going to be a thing. Now, this probably should be something that ticks. So maybe I will need some sort of continuous category parameters. I'll just call it continuous evaluation. Call that choosability. Okay, so I guess we're Moxie. That was rude. Okay, she's happy now. Hi, sweetie. Why did you bark so loud? You didn't need to do that. Yeah, so I guess I will need to... That logic stays the same right there. The rest of this, however, is going to be completely different. I will probably need target information. I will need to know what my target is, who my target is, or where my target is at. That will be an input to this task. F targetable. Target. Okay, I will need to know that. And I'll need to know that, and then I'll also need to know ASC abilities. What form do I get? Load abilities, remove abilities, get activatable abilities. TRA of gameplay specs. Get all abilities? I hate that these are in handle and spec form. Get activatable abilities. Let me see what this does internally. This will include CDOs for non-instanced abilities, and per execution instance abilities, actors will be the actual instance. Okay. This array is not vital for things to work, it's a convenience thing for giving abilities to the actor. But abilities could also work on things without ability. Okay. Okay, I don't understand why they put that there. That was kind of weird. Gameplay ability spec container, items, spec ability. Okay, so I can pretty easily get the actual instance there. Okay, no big deal. No big deal. Activatable. How do you spell activatable? That's how they spell it. What the hell, writer? It does look kind of weird. Add to dictionary. F gameplay ability spec. Okay, so T subclass of my gameplay ability base. Chosen ability. And so I will need the U property edit anywhere category outputs. Chosen ability. No, I want the T subclass of U my gameplay ability base. Chosen ability. And I guess I'll also want to know if I should cancel like the current ability thing. Well, no, because then I just won't update the chosen ability on the instance data. Okay, so I need to look at each ability and I think an easy way to weed some of these out is checking if it can activate ability. Which it would be nice to know how the ability system component does that. Ability source. I mean, it just calls it on the instance. Okay, I guess I'll just do the same thing. That was like a debug. Source there. So I will need to do act. Let me just do ability. I don't want to type that full word out there. If ability dot ability. Let's call it spec. Ability spec. Can activate ability. What do I need to pass? Oh, I need to pass in so much shit, don't I? What do you need? I need a spec handle. Okay, thank God I have that. Actor info. Yeah. ASC. Actor info. Ooh. Ability actor info. Get. Source tags, null pointer. Is that all I need? Yeah, I think so. Source tags, target tags. Maybe I should probably pass those in there as well. Source tags would be get something tags, get owned gameplay tags. I think that's. Oh, I need to fucking. I hate the way that they set this up. You have to like pass in. What am I passing in here? Oh no, it returns a gameplay tag container. So why was that? Oh, it wanted a pointer to it. Okay. I can give you a pointer to it. There you go. And then I need the targetable. So I should also check for instance data. Well, I'm gonna put this below. If I don't have an ability system component on the target, return failed. So this will be instance data dot target ASC get owned gameplay tags. That'll need to be a pointer as well. Okay, so chosen ability, don't necessarily know. I'm not going to break either. I don't necessarily know that this is the ability I want to execute, though. So if I'm capable of activating it, like, I need to pick one, right? So if I'm not capable of activating it, I need to know why. If it's just range, I need to get in range and activate it. God, this is gonna get so complicated so fast. But it's gonna be really fun to work on. This is one of the things that's like when you actually see it working and stuff, it's really cool. So yeah, because all I have right now is like melee attack, really, melee auto attack. So I guess I need to like check cost, check cooldown, check range. I need to check those independently. I can't just do can't activate ability. Didn't I write a check range function? What the hell happened to that? It's const as well. Oh, I haven't casted this. Okay, duh. Check range. Sir. Oh, again, dude, I did that before and was wondering why it wasn't working. I did ability system component, not ability base. Check range. Now I have it. Okay. Sick. So I'm going to need to check these. Let me just sketch these out real quick. Not sketch these out, but like, I'm going to define each of these. Bool B has... Honestly, if it's on cooldown, we're probably not going to consider it. I guess it depends on how long the cooldown is, right? It's a 10-second. If it's on a 10-second cooldown, obviously I don't want to use that at all. But if it's like got like a half second left, you know, maybe use that. But I guess if this is going to be a task that's like continually running in combat. So, and I'm gonna need some behavior for when I don't have an ability chosen. And for melee, that's probably just going to be like, hey, stick on their ass so you can attack them the next chance you get. Or it's going to be run because you're about to die. Or it's going to be for range, get some more distance so you don't get attacked. And so, yeah, if like, I don't think I want to choose something that has a cooldown. Because I would need a task to just wait, right? Because eventually a task is going to need to execute this ability, and when it can't, what does it do? Wait? It depends on why it can't execute the ability. And if the chooser is deciding why it should use an ability, there may be some duplicated logic there, so I think... So I don't think I'm going to want to use it to select anything in this task that's on cooldown. Dude, hybrid classes are going to be so fucking hard to code. I've been playing a shaman in classic WoW, and that's like as hybrid as it gets, you know, I guess, save for druid, but Shamans have actually great melee abilities, but they also have great ranged abilities too. But they're very mana dependent. And so you want to, a lot of times you don't want to be casting any abilities, you just want to be meleeing, and you just want to be regenerating mana. Because you don't regen mana for 5 seconds after you cast something. I'm thinking. Let's not worry about the hybrid class situation. That's just going to be so fucking hard to think about. Because, I mean, the thoughts that go through my head are like, do I have enough mana? Can I just kill this thing with melee attacks? Do I need to spend more mana to kill this thing before it kills me? Do I have excess? Am I above half mana? Yes. I'm gonna have to, like, for the AI to be if I want really good AI, I think what I'm gonna have to do is, like, I'm gonna have to determine like a rate of incoming and outgoing damage. Oh, don't even get me started on healers, man. Oh, that's gonna be nuts. And it's like, okay, if incoming damage is higher than my outgoing damage over the past, you know, however many seconds, and that'll be like how reactive it is. If incoming damage is greater than outgoing damage, evasive maneuvers, essentially, whatever those might be. Frost Nova, blink away, you know? That could be cool. I could have like, how would I determine that though in like a task? I think that would be more of an evaluator type job. Could even be something that's stored on the ability system component, as that's where all like the combat's happening through. Anyways, that's a long tangent for check cost. I think it's good to think about those things though for a little bit. Optional relevant tags. Okay, yeah, we don't need to pass that in. I'm gonna copy those though. What don't you want? What are you mad at? Oh, it wants a container. It's not optional. Okay. I'm gonna slap those down there because I don't want to type them out again. Just comment those out there. B is in range. Ability. Check range. I need source and target. Easy. Easy. And then I want bool B is B has mana. Well, really resources. B has enough resources. I mean, really, is in range is the only one that I would want to still select this ability for, because I have a task that will get in range for it. And if I haven't like, let's say all abilities are like on cooldown or something. Well, the melee ability won't be on cooldown. That one can always be executed. But I guess each entity is going to need some like some default logic, right? It's going to need to know if it's like a squishy ranged caster or like a melee. It's gonna need like an attitude almost, like, do I want to be in the face of the thing or do I want to be as far away as possible? Almost like a fighting style. And that's going to determine the default behavior, because the default behavior, melee, keep getting closer. Default ability or default behavior of a ranged mob, keep getting farther to like the max distance of your max ability. Man, I'm just thinking about all the logic you could do, because it's going to need like a bread and butter ability as well, you know, something like a frostbolt or just an auto attack. And it's like, okay, how do you determine what the bread and butter ability is? Well, it's something that's mana efficient, spammable, but still does good damage. It's like, okay, well, what if you want to cast some, you know, because then you could determine like a ratio of damage to mana. And you could just select the one with the highest damage to mana ratio. but that might be something that's really weak. What if it doesn't do enough damage, right? There needs to be a threshold of like, I need to take this guy out before he takes me out. So then that's where that concept of like incoming versus outgoing damage rate is. I think I'll also need to know if I am casting an ability as well. God, there's a lot. There's a lot here. There's a lot here. What do I want to do? What do I want to do here? I really think, like, if it's on cooldown or doesn't have enough resources, we're gonna skip it for now. Oh, I did check cost for both. This should be check cooldown. What does this return? Check cooldown. Returns true if we can be used again. Okay, that's what I needed to know. I'm just gonna throw a bang there in front because I think it's better to word this as is on. Well, it could be is off cooldown. And that's a better way. Okay, so is, if it's not off cooldown, continue. If we don't have enough resources, continue. Now, do I even want to check the range? You know, maybe what's gonna be my first iteration of this? So I'll think about all the complicated cases because I'll be here forever. First iteration of this is like what let's think like 3 spells. We have some sort of auto attack. We have a melee special ability. And we have some sort of ranged ability, something that can be used from a distance. So I think what I'll do here, say if there is no chosen ability yet, we'll just pick it, even if we're not in range. Now here's where I need to determine if this ability is higher priority than the chosen ability. So I'm going to want to determine if both of them are in range or not. I'll say if this is in range and the other one's not in range, then we choose this one. No chosen ability yet. Default to this one. And then I'll say if chosen ability is not in range with this one, is choose this one. Okay. And I guess I don't need those anymore. I mean, that's like the simplest. But then that might still just choose the ranged ability, right? So it's like, what's more in range is the question now. Because if you're at melee range, the melee ability and the ranged ability are both going to be applicable here, and it's just going to be whatever is the first one in the list, which is probably I don't really want this system to work that way. Let me ponder this over a sip of wine. I mean, should I make... I don't know if I want to make a distinguishment... A distinguishment? Is that a word? I don't know if I want to make a distinguishment between melee ranged. Because there could be things that are like mid-range. I kind of have to like figure out what ability does the highest damage, I think. Back for a little, how's it going? Not so bad. So I have my choose ability task set up here, and the code I've written is iterating through all of the abilities that are available to this entity, all of the activatable abilities. And so, you know, I check, you know, is it on cooldown? If it is, skip it. Do we not have enough resources? Skip it. And then I also have a range check, but that's something you can, you know, if you're just out of range for an ability, you can still use it. And that's what the previous task, calculate ability location, that's what that'll handle. That'll get you into range. So if we don't have an ability, choose this one. Even doesn't matter if it's in range or not. Now, for any of the next iterated over abilities, if it is in range, and the chosen ability isn't, then we want to use this one instead. But then after this is where it gets a little complicated. You know, I could have, and this is the example I used, I could have like a melee special ability, and I could have a ranged ability. That can be used from ranged, or it can be used from any range, we'll say. Now, I think the common knowledge would be to use the melee ability because you're in melee range. Why wouldn't you, right? Like there's a reason, perhaps. You know, don't cast the castable. It might be castable, it might be instant, not sure. That's for ranged. That's for when you're in range. So I'm thinking either I have to do something like, what is the more applicable range? Like, which ability has the closest max range to based on where I'm standing in regards to the target, and then pick that one. But that, you know, you might have a ranged ability that's just overall worse than the melee ability. So if you have the melee ability up, you should try to use it. And so that's where you maybe want to, I maybe want to figure out how much damage these things are supposed to do, and pick the one that does the highest damage. Don't know if I'd be able to do that. That seems kind of simple. That seems like the simpler solution, I think, would be to just to pick the one that does the highest damage. That might be the best first iteration for this. I don't know that I have a built-in way yet to determine how much damage something does, because it has to pass through a damage calculation. And I don't know that and it has to be like applied to a whole gameplay. It has to go through a whole loop of things essentially for the damage to be determined. Let me look up that damage calculation. Can I just execute this ad hoc? That would be nice. Yeah, so this damage, for my talent system, what I essentially created were gameplay effects that modify ability parameters, and you know that could be things like damage, crit chance, crit damage, range, cost, cooldown. And so this calculation handles a good amount of that. But in order for it to get here, I have to execute a gameplay effect against a ability system component. I guess I could give them some memory as to the encounter. Like, if they've executed this ability class before, they can store how much damage that's done. How much has that done in the past? And then they can compare that value. But then how would I get it to use more than one ability? If I had like a map of ability class to how much damage it caused against a certain target. I'm thinking, I really want a way to just like execute this against like a dummy target or something. Because like, ideally an entity should generally know how much damage it causes. And then that would solve the problem of like maybe using more than one ability, because I guess the situation I was thinking of was like, you know, no abilities, the entity has no idea how much damage abilities do, so it just picks the first one, tries that out. It knows how much damage that one does, so it's going to do it every time in comparison to the others. Don't want that to happen, so I need some like default value for how much damage it causes. And so if I were to able to run this execution calculation with a dummy against a dummy target with like, you know, no armor or whatever, then that would give it some values to compare against. And you know, maybe it picks one that it thinks it's going to do the most damage, but oh, it turns out the target has a lot of armor, and that one, you know, it's going to cast a frostbolt versus a melee swing. Maybe it thinks the melee swing is going to do higher damage, but the target's heavily armored, so it doesn't. But it has an idea of what the frostbolt can do. Now it's like, okay, I'm going to try that out. But maybe the target has a bunch of frost resist, so that ends up being even lower. It goes back to the melee swing. I know it could be more work, but would it be worth setting up a fake arena to test? Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I have my little playground levels and stuff like that with AI running around. Or if that's not a possible in missed info. Oh no, totally possible, and honestly not even that much work. You just slap down a few blocks and throw a few actors in there. I essentially have that. I guess you probably haven't seen it. This is one such playground level. I got some AI. Red guys will run around and attack each other. That's a friendly guy. And then the one that I've been using lately, this is the one that actually has... Those are just like my first implementation of actual actors that have logic on them and stuff. And so those are just actually the same as the player. And they work the same as the player. Did my engine just crash? What's going on here? I have another level that I've been using to test my entity system, and it's like large. My god, why is it taking so long? Okay, here it is. It's got a bunch of stairs everywhere that I generated with PCG. And I know you were just getting started, so maybe you don't know what PCG is, but it's procedural content generation. You can do some like visual scripting to randomly generate stuff. And so basically I just told that to like throw a bunch of stairs and platforms in random heights and locations. And this was helping me test pathfinding. So ignore that for now. Please continue. Okay, so here I am. And so this guy is going to follow me now, because I was his closest targetable. Now he's going to run off. And you see he's switching back and forth in between a bare bones actor, and these are actually static meshes, all these guys. And they normally would be running around, but they're targeting each other, so they all ran to their targets and stopped, is what happened in like the first frames. I think I have 500 rendered right now, all ticking and running and stuff. So yeah, this will be what I use to test. And usually when I'm just trying something out for the first time, I just spawn one entity and then I go find him and run up to him. For some reason my dude, my Unreal Engine has been so wonky ever since I updated. That was so laggy. I casted a dot on it. All my FX look so bad. Like these are old Cascade particle system, which is like a super old legacy version of FX, but they were free from the Infinity Blade game. It's just like, it's like free now to just use all its assets. So that's what I've been using. Yep, and now he's just gonna follow me around because he has no logic for when he's dead. Yeah, so now my FX look bad for some reason. Oh my god, even that, the material isn't even, oh there it is, it finally loaded. Okay. Wait, what? I should be able to cast this. Oh my god. Is updating to 5.5 a mistake? Not exactly a good show of what I'm capable of, but that's there. So yeah, that's what I'll be using to test and stuff. But right now I'm just kind of like testing in my brain for like, what should the logic be? Back to that damage execution. The fun times of bugs, I know, right? Well, it's one thing when it's my own bug caused by me. You know, I create a bug, shame on me, sure. Bugs caused by upgrading the engine, you know, now I'm getting annoyed. Not cool. Yeah, I'm wondering if I can just stand this up and call it. Let me copy that. Let me see if I can just create a new object and see what happens. Choose ability, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna stand up a... Yeah, import that. New object. And what is like the base here? I'm just gonna follow this. It's just a U object, a couple levels down. Damage calc. Let's just run a execution implementation, execution params. Okay, what is this object? Owning spec. Okay. Can I set this? Set. Or do I have to? Does it have a constructor? Yeah. Okay. And I do have a spec. Already, nice. That works. Ability spec, and what else do you need? Scoped mods. Ah, shit. Okay, we're just gonna dummy object there. And I have a target. Yeah, I can do the. Well, no, I wanted to pass in a dummy one. I'll just use myself for now. The entity is going to use itself to determine how much damage would this do if I was attacking myself. Prediction key. don't know. Why doesn't that work? F gameplay effect spec. Oh, it wants an effect spec. Right. Shit. Okay. Right, because yeah, oh god, okay. It's all coming back to me. It's been a while since I worked on abilities. Yeah, so the abilities actually create a damage effect. They create a damage effect and apply that at some point. So, to determine how much damage it does, I would need to get that information out of it at some point, somehow. And the way every ability works is a little bit different. So... on deal damage, what are we doing? Get ability damage. I wonder if I should just create my own function for that. On my gameplay ability base. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, that's gonna be, So, I mean, I guess I'm gonna need that anyway for, like, tooltips, right? I'm gonna need to display to the player, like, the min and max, damage of the ability. Yeah, I'm gonna need that anyways. I'm gonna need something like that anyways. Now, should that live? I mean, I guess it would be easy for it to live on this. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna need to be a U function if I'm gonna need to show it in tooltips. I need to ask Odd what he did for this, because I know he just worked on tooltips. Float. Get min damage. We'll definitely want to be const. And I'll definitely need a max damage as well. And maybe those are the same. Maybe those return the same thing. I'll just make them return 0 for now, because I am getting off. That is going to be it for me tonight. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. I think I'll probably be hanging out with a girlfriend tomorrow, so maybe sometime this weekend I will stream again. If not, definitely Monday. Next Monday. So, yeah. This was more fun than doing the movement stuff that I have been doing lately, so it was a good time. But yeah, I'll be getting off, so goodbye everyone who stopped by. Sleep time for me as well. Do I stream daily? I would like to. Don't always have time for that. It's usually more so on a weekly cadence. Happy to have you as a lurker, though. Happy. And always happy to answer questions or explain anything. So, until next time.